Hey everyone, welcome to PunkCast. My name is William Maxwell. I'm a student of Web3 and the owner of Punk6997. Cryptopunks are 10,000 uniquely generated characters stored permanently on the Ethereum blockchain. No punk is the same. This is a show dedicated to celebrating the punks behind the punk. My hope for this podcast is that we capture the essence of the punk culture, elevate the brand and the individual behind the punk. One last thing. Projects discussed on the show is not financial advice. Crypto and NFTs are a volatile and risky asset class. Please always do your own research. Other than that, let's go. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of PunkCast. Today we've got Punk6995. He's a 4 Atty with stringy hair, earring, vape, and horn-rimmed glasses. He's an NFT degen collector and entrepreneur. Please welcome my favorite French punk, Quentin, to the show. Quentin, how are you, man?
Very good, very good. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be on PunkCast. And hi, everyone.
Thank you for joining us, man. Where are you dialing in from today?
I'm right now in Malaysia. So I quit France about 3 months ago and started with Bali, and then now we are in Malaysia for a while.
Oh, nice. Are you taking on the the digital nomad type of route at the moment?
At the moment, I'm on the visitor visa. So basically, I have 3 months because of the French nationality. And then, I need to do the digital visa, but I'm very bad at all the admin tasks. So might gonna end up to go to Thailand instead of getting the digital visa.
Well, mate, I'd be interested to learn how you ended up in Malaysia of all places. Maybe we could just start off just a brief introduction to yourself and how you got into NFTs. What's that journey like?
Yeah, sure. So I will do mostly the Web3 journey, basically. But just before, I think I can say I'm a high school dropout. So I quit school at 16 because I was like really bad at doing my homework. I never did my homework. And then, of course, I'm not the smartest guy on earth. So at some point, I couldn't really continue to go to school and having good marks and everything. So I quit school. My mom said, okay, you can quit school, but you need to get a diploma before quitting school. So I ended up being a plumber. And then, so I started to do like plumber for 2 years to get the diploma in France. And then I did around 5 different industries while I was an employee. And I couldn't fit in all the job I couldn't think. I was always feeling that I was just a number and things like that. So then I think it was 2015, I went for a wedding in Miami with my dad, and that's where I met my wife. And we don't really remember well how it ended, but 6 months later we were we decided to go to Australia. So we moved to Australia. We moved. I think I like to say this because sometimes, for example, yesterday I was speaking with French people and they were like, "Oh, you are in Malaysia. It's so cool." I'm kind of scared to go in other country. And back then, so in 2000, I think it was 15. Back then I wasn't in crypto at that time, and I have no digital job, and we had not much money. We have just 2k euro, and we just went to Australia, and we were like, okay, we will figure out like that. So like we always say with my wife, is there is no right time to just quit what you have in your life and say, okay, I go somewhere else in the world. There is no right time. You just need to do it. So did 2 years in Australia, was very, very good. That's where I learned English. So I still have a strong French accent, but I guess my English is better now.
I was hoping you would have more of an Australian accent after 2 years being here.
No, I didn't eat enough Marmite and Vegemite to have a better Australian accent. By the way, that tastes really awful, and I don't know how you guys like Vegemite and
What?
Marmite.
Vegemite is the best thing ever. I've been eating copious amounts of it ever since I got back from Hong Kong. But for those of you that listening, definitely try some Vegemite. It's basically a black spread that you put on your toast every morning.
Yeah, please, guys,
Salt, extra salty.
please, guys, don't try it. As you mentioned, it's black and because it has the same taste as petrol. So please don't try
Each their own.
it.
Excellent.
But I mean, I had to try the Australian thing. So, but by the way, something black also. I really like the gravy sauce. So that's at least that's
Gravy
something
is good.
we can agree. Um, and yeah, so I went to multiple places in Australia working. So I was working in hospitality. So I work in Hayes Rock, where there is the big rock in Uluru, right in the middle of the desert. Um,
Do they let people climb it anymore? I think they've stopped it right now.
What do you mean
You
by
can't.
climate? Ah, climb
You
on the
can't.
rock.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think they stopped 1 year after I was working there. But
Oh,
anyway,
okay.
it was like the Aborigine. They don't like people to climb, so I think it was good
Stop it.
to
Yeah.
yeah to cancel this possibility. But yeah, very
Hmm.
interesting, very interesting. By the way, if sometime, I maybe give an idea, but I always think, like the Aboriginal art, the dot painting.
Mm.
I find it really beautiful. My wife did some dot painting back then, and I think it's
Mm.
really something unique that can be fit into the NFT. So sometime I'm thinking about doing something with like art project with Aboriginal art, but yeah.
Absolutely. You know what? When you start talking about it now, I think that would be perfect for generative art.
Hmm.
Something that's randomly sort of traits. I mean, because it's just spots, right, and different sort of earthy colors. Yeah, you're right. I think that'd be beautiful.
Yeah, and there is a lot of storytelling around those art because basically the Aboriginal they paint by seeing themselves. I mean, the way they paint is by looking at them from the sky. So whatever they paint, it's mean like you're looking up of them. So for example, uh, they explain me if I remember correctly, a man it's like few dots and something on the left on the right and that's their weapon basically and that's how you recognize a man, so it's really interesting.
Mm, of course.
So yeah, basically 2 years in Australia, then I moved to Gold Coast, just 1 hour under Brisbane in Queensland, and then I ended up into Hamilton Island, which was it's an island close to the Great Barrier Reef, and then that's where I started to do a bit of crypto in Gold Coast, and then when I moved onto the island, the job didn't really satisfy me, so I kind of quit and then turned full time in crypto. At that time, 2017 was around September.
Mm.
So kind of back then it was pure euphoria, like we had in 2021. And so yeah, quit my job, was trading all day, but I was really really learning it. I just had like 2 months of investing, so I thought I was like a pure genius. I was able to triple my invest in 6 months. And then, that was the end of my visa. So I came back in France in early 2018, and I was like, okay, so I'm really smart. Let's go full time crypto. Don't get any more jobs. So we moved to Morocco to reduce our cost of living. And then it was in February 18, and then the market started to enter in bear market, and at that time I didn't know what was a bear market, and basically I lost all the profit and all the money that I invested back then. So that was kind of a bit of disappointment to lost everything.
Sounds like me right now.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's it's always cycle. I mean, from my understanding, it's always cycle. So what happened to people now, it's what happened to people 2018, and it's what happened to people in 2015 or 16.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, where in France are you from?
I'm from Lyon,
Okay.
in the
Never
middle.
been. Nice.
So yeah, so just to go then quickly, so lost everything, but because I did my research back then in 2017, I wasn't like only for the money, and that's something important to say maybe for people that invested only for the money into crypto. It's not about the money itself; it's more about the value and the intrinsic value, like the like all the libertarian value that are tied to the blockchain. That's why we need to invest into crypto and blockchain. It's not only about the money. Of course, it's about the money, but not only. And because I did all those research back then in 2017, that's why I keep myself myself connected to the market, and also because I didn't have any more capital into crypto because I lost everything. So I get back to work, and instead of going back again to hospitality, I did again a new job. So I started to become a developer, web developer. So I learned during a boot camp, and then I ended after finishing the boot camp. I had the opportunity straight away to become like kind of product owner. So basically, I made the link between people that want an application and the developer. So I didn't really dev myself, which is maybe like I would have loved to be a developer maybe and turn my plan was to turn out to be a Solidity developer, but because I had this opportunity, I forget everything what I learned about development. So I was working into then in corporate investment bank, which is called the Crédit Agricole, as I said, product owner. And then came the COVID crash into March 2020, and I was still connected to the market. And that's so I invest during the crash, and then I was able to surf the 2020 bull run. Quit again my job in December 2020, but this time I have more money than 2017, and I have more knowledge and experience, and started to do things online. And that's how when I like really get into NFT. So was it enough clear, or should
Amazing.
I move to NFT?
No. Of course, no. So let me just go back and ask you a couple questions
Of
there.
course.
So 2017. I mean, how did you come across crypto? Like, you were working in hospitality, you basically picked up your life. You're halfway around the world in Australia. How did you come across crypto? Was it mostly Bitcoin or sort of Ethereum? What was your sort of interest at that point in time?
So I will say, so by the way, in France, I come from like not the hood, but like low income suburbs. So I spend most of my time of internet. By the way, that's how I describe myself. I describe as an internet citizen. For me, I'm come from a citizen of the earth, but mostly from internet. So I was always into internet, mostly through gaming. Like I started to play into online gaming very early. So the really first time I heard about Bitcoin was when Silk Road got shut down. But because there was a story about, if I remember correctly, a Norwegian student that then woke up and like saw there was so much money. So I was like, oh, that's crazy story. But at that time, I wasn't, I didn't have the right mindset, nor the basic financial foundation. So I didn't really pay attention at that time. But after that, so in 2017, early 2017, he started to make some noise again into internet. So start to do my research, and the first thing that get me into really into the blockchain itself first, before Bitcoin, before Ethereum, it was a TEDx conference by an old man. I mean, old, not that old, but like more older than me, and he was really, really explaining very well. And I was like, okay, that's really interesting, like all the blockchain thing. But at that time, it was January 2017. I was like, how the bank, how the government will let this technology go? For me, the people will shut it down. So I keep doing my research because I was like, those value, they are really like from my education and from what I believe about life. That's the value I like. I mean, I can relate. So I was like, okay, that's very good, but how can the bank, and keep doing my research, and later then I understood about the decentralization, that people cannot stop it. And when I understood about the decentralization, that's where I decided to put my money in.
And when was that? Was that 2017
Yeah,
into Bitcoin or?
Yeah, it was July 2017.
Amazing. And so like you were, when you sort of say you were hanging out on the internet, like was it sort of Reddit channels or were you just browsing random websites? Was there a
Yeah,
group of friends or community that you were part of or?
not really Reddit. I think in France, Reddit now, because of the pixel war, it's bigger Reddit. But back then in France, Reddit wasn't really a big thing. So it was more about and I'm kind of before NFT, I was kind of not anti-social, but I was really bad at social, being social. So no, not through community, just some articles so somewhere on the internet, and then started to find mostly YouTube video and just going through. Oh, okay, so like trying to go to the rabbit hole. So these guys say about blockchain. Okay, so I was on YouTube. What is blockchain? Oh, he said Bitcoin. So what is Bitcoin? And then going through like this.
Yeah. I can sort of relate. I think that's sort of how I went through as well. It was generally probably a very lonely exercise, but then I think when you come out of it, you have a bit of conviction and you just go and invest by yourself, which is kind of cool. And then so you got into Bitcoin in 2017, and then how did you make your way across into Ethereum? When was that?
Yeah, so yeah, to answer this question, so at that time I was only there for of course I said the value, but to be honest, I was only there for the profit. So I was trying I quickly understand, so okay, Bitcoin is a store of value. So my goal is to increase my value number, not really my euro or USD value. I need to increase my Satoshi. So I was basically trying to go into altcoin and then moving back to Bitcoin. That's what mostly I did. But after that, even if I tripled my capital in 2017, I tripled my capital, but I invested into Bitcoin when it was like 4,000. But I tripled, so that means basically uh, if at that during this time Bitcoin did 4K to 20K. So if I just bought Bitcoin and didn't touch anything, I would have made more money rather than try to like trade and get more money through altcoin. So, but all of this I realized after that. But yeah, during that time I was just trying to get more Bitcoin through trading, which is fact was counterproductive.
Yeah. And then so how did you get into Ethereum? Was it just Bitcoin back then?
Yeah, it was just okay. I need to get more Bitcoin. Of course, I knew Ethereum, but I wasn't really. I was mostly focused about improve my Bitcoin stack. I did some ICO, but not that crazy because like crypto was really new for me, and from my background, like in my family there is no entrepreneur, in my circle there is no entrepreneur, or everyone is low income job. So like I was really bad at into financial like knowledge. So just trying to get more money. And then Ethereum, it's really when in 2020 when I was like during GFI summer that I really get back into Ethereum. I tried to do some ICO in 2017, 2018, but that was after the like kind of when the bubble was popping off.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I think a lot of people went through a very similar journey, right? That ICO boom in 2017 was a really super crazy one, and I think similar stories to you. I mean, I basically lost everything in that sort of period, and didn't touch it again until COVID hit in 2021. So then, for you, so in DeFi summer was when you got back into ETH and I guess trading again in some form into crypto. Maybe walk us through that journey, and then eventually, how did you find your way into NFTs? Like, what was that like?
Yeah, so even in 2018-19, I was kind of still keeping an eye on the market, but I didn't have really enough fun because I was doing the web development bootcamp, so didn't have really a lot of fun, and I kind of stopped my DCA at that time. But yeah, still keeping an eye because of I knew, like, also the funny thing is I can say is when I start in 2017, because when I start to do my research about Bitcoin, it was at 600 euro, and then when I bought, it was at 4,000 euro. I was like, okay. When I say this, I always find it funny, is because when I bought in 2017 in July, August, I was like, okay, so maybe it's the end of the like, maybe it's too late to buy, but yet by buying the last new thing on the market, I will be aware about the next new thing. Does it make sense? And
Totally.
and at that time, I thought it was like the end of crypto, and oh, I bought the top, and I didn't know what will come next. But I find it funny, and we will link it with the how I started the NFT.
Another side question as well. So during that period,
Yeah,
between the bust of the 2017 period, so you were actually working as a developer for the bank
yeah,
at the time, or a product owner.
yeah, yeah. I
You were
was working
working
as
in
product owner.
under them. Ah, cool. Okay, cool. So and then basically you basically held all the crypto that you bought during that period as well. Like you had enough conviction to just hold, as
No,
opposed
not
to
really.
just
I was
dump.
still looking at the market, but because my income wasn't that much and my conviction wasn't, I kind of still agree and relate to the value, but on the financial side, I didn't have enough knowledge as of today, so I didn't do the DCA at that time, but just keeping an eye on the market. But I was like, okay, it's
Got it.
good, but people seems to don't give any more value to this, so I didn't invest.
Yeah, got it. Got it. Yep.
And so yeah, so then after the COVID crash, I start to invest again, and then it was DeFi summer, so kind of going to. I didn't get the Uniswap airdrop, sadly, but after the Uniswap airdrop, that's where I start to really pay attention to DeFi. So did all the Degen stuff back then, of the fork, the farming, Degen farming, and everything on different chain, and blah blah. It was fun time. Got rug into so many projects as well. But at some point, I I know when I kind of say this, some people can get. Some people say to me, yeah, you say this because you don't understand. But for me, there is something I want to share here, and maybe some punks can relate to this, or I will be, if some punks can DM me and tell me what they think about this, or even you, Maxwell, sorry to didn't think about you in the first place. But for me, Bitcoin and the blockchain have been created to rethink the financial system. And then when there was this DeFi summer, I was like, okay, so like back then, and I think it's still the case, but the DeFi boom was to give access to banking to the people that doesn't have access. That was like the main message. And then I saw it turn out to just create a new token, make it incredible API, and farming and getting crazy and like so many yield and blah blah blah, and after it just crashed because it was just a Ponzi at the end of the day. So for me, I stopped a bit doing DeFi, the DeFi summer. I stopped at some point because I realized, and I couldn't relate anymore to what Satoshi vision was, to rethink of a financial system and all the inflation and everything, because I felt like all those new token, okay, it's good, but at the end of the day, it's just outside of what for me the vision of the blockchain is. Does it make sense?
Yep.
So that's why I stopped a bit about doing this DeFi, but yeah. And then in the meantime, I found out about Sora, so the card football card game with NFT, which was made by a French. So I started to put some money in Sora in early 2020, and that's how I discovered about NFT. But because I
So
yeah,
just that project alone as well. Is that what blockchain is that on? I don't think I've actually bought any so rare
Ethereum,
NFTs. So it's actually on Ethereum as
yeah,
well. And how are they doing now from when you bought in? Are they still valuable?
yeah, the value increased like crazy. But
Like even today, like today, like especially when the World Cup is on as well, right? Like
well, I will tell you. So basically, I found out about this, and I was like, okay, so the concept of NFT. That's how I learned the concept of NFT. I find it really cool. Okay, so you have a digital asset and all basically the concept tied to the blockchain, but for digital assets. So I was like, okay, that's very good. Okay, I start investing about in this. But back then, there was mostly Belgium championships only in Sora, and because I'm not a soccer fan, I was like kind of still going into the dire process, and I was watching replay of Belgian soccer game while I just don't like soccer, and I was like, okay, so maybe I'm going too far. I would just stop Sora because I don't like soccer and it's crazy what I'm doing. So I quit Sora, but I kept some card that I bought back then, and sometimes I sold them. So the last one I sold, I bought it for like one euro, and I sold it for 1,500 euro. So I know so many people that
nice.
played back then. They made so many profit with Sora. But now, from now, I know they did so many things. They bring baseball, they bring, I think, basketball. There are so many advisors. That's one of the highest fundraising in France. So yeah, they scale a lot. But sadly, I didn't really like enjoy ride the full wave because I didn't like soccer. But yeah, that's part of the journey, I guess.
So, so Quentin, it might be worthwhile just for you to explain what So Rare is, because I don't think many people are
So
familiar with it and the mechanics of it.
it's a fantasy football. So basically, you are a manager, so you need to align 5 players into your team, and so every week there is championships, and basically how you can win is your player. They are their score, they are coming from their real life performance. So if they score a goal during the real match, it will give you more points on your team, and then you are competing with other manager into Sora. And yeah, that's pretty much it about the fantasy football aspect. So fantasy football, I think in the English country, people are really connected to fantasy football, but that's with NFT. And if you during this championship, like during this game week, at the end you can win Ethereum, or you can win other rare card and everything. So it's pretty. If you like soccer, I mean, it's really good. And the way for me, I think the best way to make money, it's when you focus into like some some championship. For example, I think they have now Korea or things like that. If you know well those championships, then you can try to find a player that will be transferred to Europe. And if you are, it's pretty the same as everywhere. If you are early, then you will be able to flip it for a good profit, I guess.
Yeah, awesome. And so that was basically your first stint into NFTs. And when was that? Was that like late 2021?
No, that was early 20. That was early
Early
20.
20.
Yeah, early 20 for Sora. And after I did a bit of Axie. And at that time, I saw about people we love, but I think some people can relate to. At that time, I saw CryptoPunks, and I was like, who are those stupid people buying JPEG, pixelated JPEG? Who are those stupid people? That's what I said at that time.
So maybe talk us through that journey. Why at that point in time? Why were you thinking that? Like, what did it look like to you at that time?
Because I was stupid. I thought the other guy was stupid, but it was me that was stupid. And instead of thinking that I was the smartest man on earth that knew the right thing, I should have paid more attention about, okay, so why there is interest for those JPEGs. And I should have done my research, but I don't know, at that time, that was what I said.
So was there a lot of just looking back as well? Was there a lot of friction or any friction for you to buy NFTs like with So Rare and Axie Infinity, or did that digital assets naturally make sense to you?
No, it makes sense to me because it was the founder of Sora that did a conference in France where he explained it. So it makes sense to me. Then in Sora, you didn't need to have your MetaMask back then to like it's kind of Web 2.5. You didn't have to have your MetaMask, so that was easy. And for Axie Infinity, because I invested already in ICO in 2018, so no friction for me. It's just like I've never been into art also, and I believe most of the people that came early into NFT, they come from the art side, not really from the profit side. And at that time, I really again was only focused about the profit.
Like most of us.
Yeah.
All right, and then to talk to us about your journey into CryptoPunk. So you saw them, you thought they were silly, but then along that journey, at what point did you start getting a little bit more interest into CryptoPunks? And what sort of
Yes.
led you to buying your first one?
Yeah. So 2000, end of 2021, 20 and 21, I was really focused into crypto, not paying attention into NFT, and I was kind of still have the stupid saying about why those people are buying monkey and everything. And then at some point, I think people will remember very well that time, Visa bought their CryptoPunks. And I was like, okay, so if Visa, this really Web2 company, buy a CryptoPunks, I think that must have something to. I need to pay attention because those people, they are really far away of Web3, and they decide to buy a CryptoPunk, so that must be something. And that's where I started to pay attention to really carefully to NFT, and it was during summer 2021.
I was just gonna say that was a crazy time when Visa bought in. There was a massive sort of rally on punks at that time, right? So was that when you bought in?
No, I didn't buy it at that time because that was too much money to put in for me. But yeah, now
Okay.
I always like if I come late to something that I really like, I always try to get back into history. So yeah, I'll talk with many punks, and for most of the punks, they remember very well that time when Visa bought the punks and the big sweep that happened just after. So
Yeah.
so no, but for me that was too much money at that time, and so as I just want to start to just new project basically, and that was the good time where there was the saying, oh, if you get on the whitelist, you can sell for 5 times more expensive. It's so easy NFT. So that was true at that time. If you just had to be on the whitelist, mint, and beam, you get some profit. So I did this for a while and start to have some knowledge about, more spending more and more time into NFT. And then in mid-September, there was some Web2 entrepreneur, French Web2 entrepreneur that kind of starting I saw them on their social saying, oh, do you know people that can manage a Discord? Do you know people, blah, blah, blah. So I started to realize that he wanted to launch an NFT project. So I contact him and I say, look, I have some knowledge. I'm into NFT for a few months, but I'm into crypto since 4 years. Maybe we can work about something. So then we did the interview, and then I started to be onto an NFT project I think it was October 2021.
And what was it? So October 21 was your first CryptoPunk. It's not the one that you have. It's not the one that you have now.
No, it wasn't still my CryptoPunk. So basically, to do the story quick, so I started to work into this NFT project, and for most of the people that did NFT project, you know how time consuming it is. I was really 100% focused about this project, and the one thing maybe I can share is sometimes, I mean, English people, they really know this saying, but you need to be skin in the game. And that's I was really skin in the game because I had my wife just gave birth to my second kid. So my baby was 2 months old, and I was to my wife, I said, okay, I got this opportunity. I believe it will do really well, but I need to have a high focus. So do you agree I go to this project? But unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to help you with the baby. And she said, like, do you really believe it can do well? And I said, yeah, I believe it can do really, really well. So she said, okay, go and we will figure out later. So I just quit all my daddy tasks to be full-time into this project. And so it was, so the project is called Meta Legends. Basically, when I joined this project, it wasn't the whole idea about this. So just quickly to go into this project and to do the journey, I will need maybe 1 hour to speak about the whole journey, but I will try to do in 5 minutes. So I joined the project as advisor. Then I moved as CTO because of my previous dev background. I moved as CTO. And then at the end of the project, we were only 3. So there was Max, the designer, and Robin, the CEO, and me. And then, so we created pretty much everything. And Meta Legends, so again, that wasn't the name of the project at the beginning. And we start to think, okay, what should we do with this project? And at that time, Mechaverse just sold out 2 weeks before we start, and was like, okay, so Mechaverse made they raised the design standards. I think they were among the first to do 3D project. So it was like, okay, we want to do something as beautiful as Meta Legend, but for us, the way we think we could improve about what Mechaverse did was the storytelling, because the storytelling on Mechaverse was really low. So we said, okay, we're gonna do something really big into storytelling. And also at that time, what we realized, it's all the project, they were saying, okay, so give us money and we will do this. So what we think, we say, okay, if we want to make our project valuable, we need to deliver many things before mint. So like that, people will say, okay, so those guys are delivering before we invest into the project, so that will be good. So we came up with Meta Legend. So basically, we were really inspired by the Ready Player Me movie. I think most of us have seen it, and so we goes like with those Easter eggs and everything, and we created the Meta Olympic. I mean, we had this concept named Meta Olympic game, and basically what we did, it was we released a trailer video. So it was 2 minutes video. Basically the universe was to say we are in 2050, I think. The Earth is global warming, war everywhere. We can only save some legends by digitalizing their conscience into the metaverse and blah blah blah. And that was our storytelling. And the funny thing is, we came up with this name Meta Legend, and 1 month later, Facebook announced their rebrand to Meta. So that was kind of funny to have decided this name. And so basically, during this 2 minute video, we hide a QR code into the video. And 1 week, so nobody noticed about the QR code. And 1 week later, we say to the people, "Did you really watch carefully the video?" to our community, and then they review the video. They find the QR code, and after scanning it, it redirects you to a new video. And those new video, there was like enigma, like mystery and Easter egg into it. And you had to go to Central Park in New York, take a picture, and then post it on Twitter. And the first one to do this was winning Meta Legend Hero, which is called during those Meta Olympic Games, they were hero, and then that gives you one of the rare NFT of the collection.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I think, that those concepts were really good. And then we did after that, we did for Paris, we did for London, and we did for Shanghai.
Got it. And so this is Meta Legends. I'm looking at the website now. So this was it's meta-legends.com, right?
Yes, exactly.
I think they've got like and the images, they almost look a little bit artifact like the Clone X.
Yeah, but we launched before them.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had like basically mostly inspired by Mechaverse.
Mechaverse, that was an interesting drop. And then I just noticed on your Twitter as well, you've got a line there saying raise 18 million on my first NFT project, but got kicked out of my own company, back building probably something. Was that in relation to Meta Legends, or?
Yeah, that was part of Meta Legend. So to finish and wrap the story. So again, as I said, like when I entered the project was nothing like this. And so basically Max was doing all the design, and then it was mostly Robin and me that was working onto the project. And because I entered only as advisor, my shares on the project wasn't I feel it wasn't enough relevant about what I was doing for the project. So then we agree into something. I don't want to go too much into detail because I don't like to backbite into people, and also every people have their point of view. But I will just I'm okay to speak about it. But what I usually say, and that's how I storytell my journey, is I share at least one thing with Steve Jobs, is I got kicked out of my own company. So basically, the thing is we work on this, and then we didn't agree about the vision. So basically, the vision of Meta Legend today is to build a triple A metaverse. So in my opinion, I think that's not something that is possible. So I wasn't really aligned with this vision. And the second thing is about the splits and the share. I wasn't happy about the share. So basically, because I was the last one to join, and because I have the least share, I got kicked out of the company. I still have the initial share of the project, but for me, I felt it wasn't enough. And then, so we sold out the project for 18 millions. And so that was, I'm still very proud of what we built, and still this journey was amazing. And I know a lot of people from the community. I still, even the project now, I don't really know what they are doing because I'm not part of the project, but I still see some people that are wearing the PFP, and the whole universe and the whole journey we did during those Easter egg online and in real life Easter egg was really crazy. And yeah, that was really a good journey.
That's an amazing story, right? I mean, just to be part of that journey when it was crazy peak bull season. I mean, you launched at the perfect time as well, right?
Yeah, that's. I think we couldn't do it at the better time.
Yeah. So and look, and people like me, it's easy to commentate, but to actually be part of building something and creating something is a completely different experience as well, right? So that must have been a super interesting journey for you. And then, so like, what are you doing? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and just to answer this, because people can look at the project and say, oh, so the mint was 0.3 and now the floor price is 0.1, or you guys are ruggers and everything and blah blah blah. So first thing, I'm not anymore on the project. Second thing is the team, like the people are still working on it, and the only thing, not the only thing, but one thing we did bad was the supply. So we have 12K NFT, which is like we decided to do 12K because in our storytelling it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 legends gonna save the world. So that's why we decided to do 2,345 NFT, because we found the name cool. But that's one of the only mistakes we made on a project, is the supply is way too much. So now that's why we have a low floor price. I mean, that's why they have a low floor price on the project, is because the supply is too big. So yeah, it's easy to comment, as you say. And to me, even if I don't align with the vision about building a AAA metaverse, we always say since the beginning that the beta of this metaverse will come Q4 2024. So we said since the beginning it was a long-term project. So for me, that's the thing. And yeah, so now I can move further and answer your question about my CryptoPunk. So after this project, so I took a bit of time to connect with my wife, because I quit her almost. I was going from computer to bed for 3 months without speaking with her, with my kid. So then we take one month holiday and to spend some time with my family. And then so come back to the market, and that's when the market starts crashing. And then I bought my first CryptoPunk when Bitcoin was at 30K, yeah, and Ethereum was at 2K. And I thought at that time that was like kind of bottom. It was ranging at that time. So I bought my first CryptoPunk for 80K USD, which was 69 ETH. I bought it, and was like really a lot of money. Is still a lot of money. We're not gonna lie about this. And yeah, I pulled the trigger. So should I say about why I decided to buy CryptoPunk over big NFT?
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, talk us through that. Like, how did you, well, first off, why did you buy? And two is, that particular punk. It's not the one that you have now, though, is it? You had a punk before 2996,
Yeah.
6995, right?
Yeah, exactly. I had 2996 before, because I bought the floor one. I just bought the floor one. So I bought this one. And then I start to join the community on Discord and start to connect with the people. And so why did I buy at that time? It's because I thought, as I said, the market kind of bottom. It was from 65 to 30K, and I think the market has kind of bottom. And for me, I believe, I say sometimes, if we all agree Bitcoin is a store of value because there is 21 million, why can't we all agree CryptoPunk are a store of value when there is only 10K? So I decided to buy this my CryptoPunk based on this analysis, and based also on, of course, CryptoPunk is history. It's one of that inspired the ERC 721 standard, and that lead all the PFP thing. Both they being created because of Punk's influence and everything. So that's why I decided to buy my Punk.
Got it.
And yeah,
so that was so basically back then that was a floor punk.
Yeah,
and
the
then
first one, yeah.
And then this one here, I mean, it's there are 4 attribute horn rim glasses, earring, the ugly stringy hair. Sorry, I got to say it's ugly, but I love it. Ugly is cool. And the vape as well. But talk us through that selection process. Like, how did you, select 6995 as your primary punk?
So my first one, so so no shame about this or whatsoever, but I'm not black, so I had to change mine because I can't really connect to my first CryptoPunk. So then I wanted to swap mine for another one. So when you want to swap your punk, who are you going to see? You go to see Punk's OTC, of course. so I go GM Punk OTC and I say, oh, look, what do you have now? And then so I look all the Punk's OTC have, and then I saw this my current one 6995. And I was like, okay, I like this vibe. I feel it's really nerdy, and there is the blue vape on it. So I decided to pick this one because also the 4 So I think 4 is kind of rare, not the rarest, of course, but kind of rare. And yeah, I like his nerdy vibe. I believe people can relate also. So that's not only it's not only I don't look like this. I don't have stringy hair, but I believe it's something good for like all the nerdy people. So I like it. I think I will say I learned to love him at the beginning. At the beginning, I picked him because it was a 4 and I like it his vibe. But now I really like him as for my punk and my branding around him.
Yeah, he's an interesting one, right? Because on one hand, he looks like a super nerd, and then on the other side, he's got like a really badass streak about him. He's got the earring and the vape as well. So you get this nerdy, badass punk that's sort of got that vibe about him, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's how I call it. I call it the nerdy vape punk.
So were you hanging out in, I guess, the punk Discord much? Or you sort of in Telegram? What was that sort of journey like for you? How are you sort of engaging with the community?
I think I can say like from the beginning and from now, I think that's the best community. That's where I enjoy the most spending my time. People are really welcoming, and also so I choose punks over Bored Ape because for me, I think at that time, and I think it's true, punks are more on the builder side rather than Bored Ape are more into marketing and cloud side. So no offense for punk, I think it's part of the DNA. It's different DNA for both of those two PFP. And I thought again because of the value, the blockchain value, I relate more about the punks, and also again I always relate to this, but on financial side, I believe like Gary Vee are saying. I quote Gary Vee because maybe he has more impact than me. But punks, they don't need to do anything to satisfy their holder and to give value to the project. They just need to be punks, and that's it. And I think we can see now with the beer market, that's the only, and of course, art project as well. But on the PFP side, I think that's the only project that can do nothing. I mean, they do nothing, even if you like bought them and they do things around it, like the museum and everything. But basically, they need to do nothing and they just keep their value, and people keep buy them because of the historical value tied to him.
It's sort of interesting as you're sort of talking through, and I think as you're talking through your journey into crypto and then into NFTs and then to punks, one thing that you always were pretty clear about is that you were primarily brought in for the money.
Of course.
But basically stuck around for the values, because I think the libertarian views sort of resonate with you.
I would say, so sorry to interrupt, but before my punks and before what we build with, I mean, with Metal Legend, what we build with Metal Legend, as I said before, I wasn't really like the social guy. Like I entered the Discord and I never spoke with anyone. I just just be myself and my family. That was kind of my mindset all around the 28, 29 years I had. And by buying my punks and connecting with the community, I really start to learn to be more social and speak to the people. And so I will say, yeah, the value, that's why I make my purchase. I'm holding it because I feel like it can go higher. And also, why I spend time in the Discord is because, or in the Telegram or in other community. Now I'm doing it, but back then I didn't do it. It's because I was able to connect with smarter people than me. And without speaking about smart, it's just about people that have the same value. So I think punks, we are really tied to libertarian value. And that's, I really can relate and speak with people that like this. And so because I'm kind of traveling the world, so I was doing traveling the world when I was employee. Now I'm full-time Web3, I'm still traveling the world. So I'm saying that you don't need to be rich to traveling the world. You can travel the world and be regular job as hospitality or constructor jobs or things like that. But I was doing this and I was spending my time on internet during traveling the world. I wasn't going outside and connecting to people. And now I can connect and turn in wherever I'm on the world. I can turn to the Discord or to the Telegram. And I think it's really amazing. And also, I met people in Bali when I was in Bali. I met people here in Malaysia while I'm in Malaysia. And it's really like a really crazy, like I would not expect this in my life. And it's really just so cool to be where pretty much everywhere in the world, and you can connect with people. That's really really interesting, and it's not something I thought I was a guy that would like to do it, but yeah, now I'm really enjoying to do it.
No, I share that same sentiment with you, and I think that's really special about NFTs, right? I think, and I mean, I just caught up with another punk here in Melbourne last week,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just nice because I'd never met him before. I only spoke briefly online, Twitter, but when we sort of met up in person, it's a different dynamic. You know, you feel like you could talk about everything, and you've just made like a brand new friend, and it's a very close friend, right? Which is kind of cool. But I think the special thing that I keep thinking about that really does my mind in all the time is that if you really take a moment to really think about the reason why you and I are talking, the reason why we're connecting with other people in real life, and you know, in some ways, the reason why you're getting out of your shell to be comfortable speaking with people could be primarily because of CryptoPunks, right?
Mm-hmm.
They created the identity NFT PFP, all these derivative sort of projects sort of came out in the back of that. Community started developing on the back of that, and so it's kind of nice to sort of think that, you know, this is the collection that really has brought everybody together, which is a really sort of special thing. I don't know that that's getting a little bit sentimental in terms of how I sort of think about punks all the time.
No,
But
but I think you're very right, and I totally agree with you. And also, I maybe go even further. I think when we are doing punks meetup, or when we meet another punk, we I think we extra give than what we usually give to other people, because we are like, oh, so he's a punk, and we can't like. We can't deceive, and we need to show we are good punks and everything. So I think we even do more by when we meet as saying, oh, so I'm punk 6995, I meet another punk, I need to show I'm I want to extra help him, but not in a wrong way, in a interest way, just out of love for the community, I think.
absolutely. And so Quentin, like just quickly then, like how did you end up in Malaysia? Like, you know, what are you doing now? Like, what's your sort of plan? And so I mean, you've had a really interesting sort of journey so far.
Yeah, so thanks to my mom, my mom told me a few years ago when I was as I told you, I come from a low income suburb in France, and my mom asked me when I was young. I think I was like 6 or 7 years old. I don't remember, but my mom told me, and she asked me, "What do you want? Do you want we loan a house and we get a nice house, but we don't travel around the world?" Or we go to a like low income suburb, but we every year we travel the world. And I chose at that time to travel the world. So since young, every year we were going into some countries. So that's clearly opened my mind from the early age. And so I love to travel. So again, I want to say it's not because you don't need to have a digital activity or to travel and work in other places. Of course, it's easier, and like what we see now with like artificial intelligence and things like that. I think we need to all move to digital work, but you don't need to. So I keep moved and traveled the world. So I did like around 30 countries now. And so I came back to France to have my kid, because while I was in Australia, if I want to give birth, I mean, if my wife wanted to give birth, the hospital was 50K. So I was like, okay, I lost everything into crypto. I don't want to spend 50K into hospital. So we came back to France, where to give birth is free. So I was like, okay, we go back to France. And so we have two kids. And then when my kids had 1 year old, my wife wanted to wait for 2 years old, but I was like, no, I want, like, it's for me, I want to go in other country. I just like can't stand to stay in France. For me, it's I just really don't like. And so it was in September, like of this year, 2022. And there we were like, okay, so we decided to go to Bali. So we spent 1 month in Bali, and we didn't really like to be in Bali for long term. It's a bit too old, and the traffic is crazy in Bali. I mean, if you don't have a bike, it's just so crazy to drive in a car. And so we were like, okay, we need to go somewhere else. And then we say, okay, so Malaysia, we've been to Malaysia in 2016, and was like, okay, we like it in 2016, so let's move to Malaysia. And now we are in Malaysia since 1 month, and we're pretty much enjoying it. So as I said at the beginning, we don't know where we will go next. Hopefully, we will get through the visa, but thanks to having digital activity. So that's, again, you don't need to, but of course it's easier if you have digital activities. I can pretty much work everywhere in the world, so that's good.
That's an amazing story. I might have to pick your brain on some of this stuff later down the track. I'd love to do a bit more traveling, but I always feel like I've got responsibilities that are sort of keeping me back. But it's an inspiring story you have there, Quentin.
Family responsibility or work responsibility?
Yeah, a little bit of both, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, just in Hong Kong and everything else, and I think the other side is tax, for the stuff that we sort of do as well, right? Hong Kong's a pretty comfy place for me at the moment. But
Yeah, I think for the moment I don't pay tax, but I think in Malaysia also you have 0% when you do business outside of Malaysia, you have 0% tax.
yeah, nice. And then, so mate, who's your favorite punk personality that comes to mind?
Very, very good question. So, how to answer? I will say, so Jimony is inspiring me around the branding that he built around his punk. It's very inspiring. That's why I get the same filter as him. So of course, not with a Hey Punks, but with my 6995 punk. That's very inspiring. But I think if I have to say, I will go for John Carp, which is a French CryptoPunk, and is having like a podcast which is called NFT Morning. He's also I think the owner of the non-fungible conference in Lisbon into Portugal. So he's doing a lot of things for France, and his podcast is really interesting. So if I have a pick, my favorite one, that will be him. But if I can name drop some other punks, I will say KT93 and Bento Box, that are my Malaysian that will welcome me very well in Malaysian. So I have to name drop their name. I will say also who I can say. I will say also my friend Neo Eruku, very well-known punk, and that I like. And yeah, of course, all the French people. Yeah, so my favorite one would be John Carp for what he is building for the French community.
Awesome. I'll have to look him up, and definitely know KT93. He seems to be everywhere.
Yeah.
And if you were to describe punk culture in a few words, like how would you describe it?
If I would have to describe punk culture, I would say that every punk have their own vision about punk culture. So I think there is no actual punk culture, but everyone have their own vision, and that's something it's good about punks is we don't try to fit into like the how I can the big picture. I think everyone just want to be punk and just want to be punk as they think punk has to be. So, but so to answer this question about my vision, I will say punks is the builder community. I think punks build so many things and like thinking about Fubar, the first one to mention into really technical stuff. It is building so many things and also all the other punks that are building stuff. I want to shout out also Addo the punks that is building Galaxy Fight Club. I really think this NFT project is the market don't really give him credit, but is building a game where basically you can take your NFT and play in the game. So I think that's what we all. I mean, not all, but most of us, when we think about our avatar, we want to have it into metaverse. But with him and his partner project, you can play your NFT into his game. So I really like this concept. So I should have said this the previous answer, but the previous question, but I'm thinking about it now. And yeah, so to answer this question, I would say builder, and then also the libertarian value, and also kind of we are try to always keep aware about what are the new thing. I'm thinking I didn't really dive deep into yet, but it's definitely on my to do. All the generative art and all the art, AI art. I think some punks are really into it. So I think we try to always keep an eye of what's next on the market, and I think it's really good, and so it's interesting again onto the financial side, but it's just interesting as well into the. I'm very curious, and I always like to learn things. So I think it's you have always knowledge into the punks Discord or Telegram. So yeah, that's what I will describe the punk culture.
Well said. And if you could pass on a message to the next owner of your punk 6995, what would you like to say to them?
Yeah, when I was when you sent me the question, I saw this question. I was like my first my first things that I've got in mind. So I will tell it. I will tell him you may have bought the top of this cycle, but you made a good investment on your punk. So don't paper hand it. Just wait as I wait mine. And yeah, you have really good value in your hand, bro. And it's okay. I just had to take some profit, but don't worry, bro. You have a golden in your hand. You just need to wait 3, 4, 5 years like I did. But don't worry, you will make good profit.
Well said. I'm sure he'll appreciate that one. And Quentin, this is super fun, man. Thank you so much for your time joining PunkCast today. I guess any final closing comments on your behalf, and where can sort of people find you?
Yeah, well, I hope it was audible for English people. My French accent wasn't too hard, and sometimes I try to find my words, so I hope it was cool. So again, thanks for having me. I really think it's good to have this kind of podcast to learn about who are behind the PFP and behind the name on Discord and everything. So thank you so much for having this. Where people can find me, I will say on Twitter, Punk6995. That's pretty much the most safe place where you can recognize scam. Discord is not safe. Yeah, that's pretty much it for if you want guys to reach me. And always a pleasure to help a punk. So if I can help from, I think I'm not the best to help on the technical side, even if I have knowledge, but more about the marketing and the storytelling side, because that's the one thing also. I think so many people, when they speak about marketing, they think about, for NFT project, they think about making some ads, making some partnership and things like that. But for me, marketing for NFT project, it's more about create a whole universe for your project. So if I can help this and around this, yeah, that's my pleasure to help a punk. Even if a non-punk, if a non-punk is listening, I can help him, of course. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much, Maxwell, for having me today.
Of course, a pleasure. And mate, if you're ever floating around Hong Kong, definitely let me know. I can bring you over to my house and we can have some Vegemite together. Just for the road.
Yeah, of course, with pleasure. I might go to Singapore first, but yeah, after that, maybe why not to Hong Kong? Actually, I will not go when Nancy Pelosi is going there. But
Awesome.
yeah, I will go.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Quentin. And guys, that wraps up another episode of PunkCast for the week. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back next week with another Punk. Bye for now.